Hello out there and welcome to Public Conscience. This is the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. PRIMOG is a civil society group with a mandate to promote good governance, participation, and accountability in Nigeria. I am Adaobi Obiabumo with Chidozie Obunnaya.
Welcome to the program.
On Public Conscience on Radio, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society through the amplification of corruption stories reported by our partner media organizations and drawing citizens and government's attention for democratic actions against it. This program is supported by the MacArthur Foundation. Today, we will be looking at how an office supposedly under the presidency continued to receive funds from the government coffers for 6 years with nobody appointed to account for monetary approvals located to the office. This story was first reported by the International Center for Investigative Reporting. So brace up because you are about to hear more. You need to get ready to join us through phone and text messages. And the WhatsApp number to send your message is 0902-265-6167. That is 0902-265-6167.
Please begin to send your messages as soon as possible to 090-2265-6167. The numbers to call will be given to you shortly.
There is an office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President. That office is one of the key offices that should be helping the President to coordinate government economic programs. There has not been anyone occupying that office for a long time now, according to the findings of the International Center for Investigative Reporting.
Dr. Adeyemi Dipolu, the Special Advisor to the President on Economic Matters, Office of the Vice President, whom the public assumes is the head of office, has vehemently denied any affinity with the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor.
Yet the non-existent Office of the Chief Economic Advisor has controversially continued to get budgetary allocation from 2016 till date with no known appointee or personnel in charge.
And according to findings by the International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICIR, the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari got approval for the sum of 496.8 million naira as capital allocations in the last 5 years without a clear identity of a presidential appointee answerable to the fund utilization.
The report also revealed that as of July 2020, data from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, OAGF, revealed that 116.97 million had been released to the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor out of the 496.8 million cumulatively budgeted.
To make the matters worse, the office got 46.86 million naira in the 2021 budget approved by the National Assembly, despite obvious accountability concerns. While there was no provision for the personnel costs and capital allocations in the budget, the 46.86 million naira was pegged as overhead.
The office in question is excluded from the list of offices under the presidency in the State House website, and presidential sources have before now maintained that no one had been appointed into the office. However, it is noteworthy that former Presidents Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan all made appointments into the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor during their time. Our focus on this report is to query how budgetary provisions were made by the National Assembly over the years, with no one to be held accountable for the funds allocated. The question we ask here is who has been spending the huge sums allocated to this office? And why has the National Assembly continued to approve funds to the office over the years when it is clear that no one has been appointed?
And for better understanding of this report, we have in the studio the lead director, Center for Social Justice, Barrister Ezonye Ekwele.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Okay, let's quickly get to Mr. Barrister Onyekwere. Sir, you read the report.
Yes.
How would you react to this report by the ICIR?
I have gone beyond being shocked by anything that happens within Nigeria anymore, because the worst things that have even been worse than this has happened in the past. Indeed, it is part of the everyday experience of Nigeria today, especially in the economy, that we are witnessing impunity. How will you react if I should throw back a similar scenario to you, that we made a budget that we were going to realize $200 billion naira in revenue from stamp duties in the year 2020. By September, when the president presented the budget to the National Assembly, and we were expecting an account of how much has been realized, they marked it not yet brought into account. By January, when the minister was giving information about how much the budget performed throughout the whole year, there was more. So no kobo was supposed to have come in. So I'm just giving it to you as an example that worse things have happened. It's unfortunate that you had the National Assembly, who were supposed to scrutinize the budget, exercise oversight, not just about the allocation, but the management and expenditure of public resources. They did not even catch up with these things, even though the publications had even been made in the media. And of course, the budget itself, when it is prepared as a proposal, it goes through the budget office of the Federation. There's budget defense sessions. It goes up to the Federal Executive Council before it is now approved and sent to the National Assembly. So how come all of these agencies, including our wonderful friends, the EFCC, the ICPC, and all the P's and the C's and whatever, and the Nigerian police and the Auditor General, who we pay huge sums of money, how come none of them have caught this mischief in actual practice of budgeting in Nigeria? So it is not surprising to me. It is part of a grand scam, a grand scheme of corruption which has been institutionalized in this regime. Maybe we are lucky to have seen this. There could be so many more. And I've also talked about the stamp duties which nobody has accounted for up till today, that has just disappeared into thin air. Yet, we are looking for money to fund the budget. This year we are proposing we'll get 500 billion from it, and we don't know what happened to last year. So that's the scenario.
Maybe you will help us make this differentiation or clarification. In September 2019, the president inaugurated the economic team with Dr. Iyabo Masha as a member, and she is economic advisor. So, what is the difference between her position and the one we are looking for?
No. What the economic team you are talking about is the Economic Advisory Council, right? Yeah. Am I right?
Yes.
That even has Soludo and some other persons. That's purely an advisory council. This is a council which is different from the position of chief economic advisor. You recall, let me also make this point, that positions like that are as strong or as credible as the holders of the office. The position of chief economic advisor to the president had never been a big issue, had never been a big position taken seriously in Nigeria until Chukwuma Charles Soludo became economic advisor to Obasanjo. And under him, he crafted the National Economic Empowerment and Development Strategy, which was the policy plan vision document of the administration. So because of that role he played, he was later taken to the central bank. That position now became important. But after him, those who have occupied the position before this present stage didn't have his erudition, his quality, the depth of his knowledge. So that position began to dwindle and began to phase out of public memory. You recall that it was a huge issue the time Soludo was there. So that's why it is even easy for people not to notice that there's a chief economic advisor. Because the previous gentlemen and ladies who have been there in the last 15 years brought nothing to the table in terms of bringing a new strong set of ideas to the table which people can relate with, and then look forward to meeting the next economic advisor who will also be credible enough to bring ideas.
So over the years, we've not been having value for the whatever we spend on that.
Since Chukwuma Soludo left that position, and maybe his immediate successor, we haven't had that high quality intellectual or that high quality contributor to national debate or national processes, or who can influence economic processes occupy that seat until maybe this last time it is empty.
Very unfortunate.
Pervasive corruption in budget process in Nigeria. Why should we as a nation be bothered with all of this corruption?
We should be bothered because it is reflecting on the bottom line of our lives. What is the bottom line of our lives? That we are paying more for fuel, we are paying more for electricity, and at the end of the day, we have inflation rate at about 16.4, 16.5. The money is getting more useless in terms of value. The salaries and earning power of livelihoods in Nigeria is not increasing. So the money that should have been used to do some very important and beautiful things, to make sure children get a good education, because we are the capital of the world in terms of out-of-school children. We're also one of the capitals of the world in terms of maternal and child deaths. So, and poverty, they say we have the highest number of poor people in the world. So we should be bothered because this will not have been so if we have been utilizing our money through a value for money approach. So we should be bothered. Particularly, we are borrowing money to say we have no money. We are borrowing because we don't have the money. So why should we be fritting away the little that is available? So that which is available, we should use it wisely. And then if you are going to borrow 1,000 and you have 500 already, you use that 500, that means you are going to borrow only 500. So it's got a lot to do with our economic policy direction in terms of the credibility of processes, as well as how we manage our economy, sustainability, and livelihoods going forward.
So there's a lot for us to be bothered.
A lot, yeah.
So with what you have enumerated, what you've explained, the systemic corruption which is threatening us as a country, how do we get EFCC, ICPC to work in the favor of the country? Because this report was released there are two parts to the report. I want to believe that they have seen it. So how do we begin to get anti-graft agencies to react to
Which
all
of the
reports?
graft agencies are you talking
EFCC.
about? EFCC, for instance, has been without a leader for how long? The leadership of the chairman of the EFCC was accused of corruption and subjected to media trials, social media and print media and electronic media trials, which he has been meting to others. He has been meting that unfortunate justice or injustice to others. Now a panel was set up to probe him, led by a former president of the Court of Appeal, very high-ranking senior member of the bench then, with all experience and integrity. Where is the report of the panel? Nobody knows whether he was indicted or he was not indicted. Today we have
a
new henchman being appointed for a Senate screening. That's not the way to go. So what I'm saying is that these agencies, to an extent, some of them are compromised. Nigerians don't trust that they will do what they're supposed to do. So we need proper, credible human beings being appointed as leaders of some of these agencies. Yeah, they are credible. There's a credible leadership in ICPC, that I know. But then places like EFCC, we need the best of the best. I'm not too sure of the
antecedents. Is it the personality issue here or
the institution?
The institution standing
you
on
cannot
its own?
separate. You cannot separate the personalities leading the institution from the quality of the institution. No more that word, no habit. If I don't have integrity, if I'm a compromised person, and you put me into the best of places, as a chairman or as a president or as a leader, I have the power to discipline, promote, reward, and punish staff. I can always compromise the place. If you are good and you want to do your work in the best possible way, and I'm not happy with you, I can take you off a case. A case I know you are going to investigate very well. You are the best investigator and prosecutor, and the person who is being investigated is one of my persons or he has compromised me. I'll take you away from that case and assign it to the most incompetent investigator who will bungle the case, or somebody I can call and say, I don't want this case to see the light of the day. Pretend you are doing something about it. Write a report this way so that the man goes free. So it is about the leadership. Once you miss, even the American system, with all the checks and balances, with all the history, you see what Donald Trump nearly messed up the system. He has actually almost succeeded in messing up the system. If not for the eternal vigilance of the American people and the strength of those institutions, which is a strength not gathered in 10 years, but over 100 years. That's why they were able to survive. If it was a typical African country, it wouldn't have survived that. He could have possibly gotten away with a coup.
This administration came on board with the mantra of fighting corruption. This office of the chief economic advisor to the president is directly under, if I would use the word, under the nose of the president. Who do you think has been siphoning this money?
I will not be thinking, because I'm not part of those siphoning. But there is a leadership in place, and the buck stops at the table of the president. So whether the president is the one siphoning the money or whoever is siphoning, it doesn't concern us. Only Nigerians should hold accountable the man who came to us to ask for our votes, and we gave him the votes.
The president?
Yes, that's the president, because he is an advisor to the president. If you are supposed to be advising me, and I'm budgeting and approving money for an office, and you are not there to advise me, there's nobody to advise me. Who should we hold responsible? A ghost advisor or a president who purportedly receives advice, but definitely he's supposed to receive advice, but no advice is coming to his table. So I will hold the president accountable. The buck stops at his table. If it was something good, he would have been quick to claim it that it is under his administration. You mind you, when things happen, you hear of Obasanjo's administration, Yar'Adua's administration, Jonathan's administration. So this is Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Simple.
President Muhammadu Buhari's administration.
General.
Okay, we have in the studio Olubenga Adanikin, okay, from ICIR. Thank you for joining us. Could you give us an overview of this findings?
Okay, thank you very much. It's really a privilege being in the studio this morning. ICIR, International Center for Investigative Reporting, is known for investigations, conducting findings, looking for exclusive reports for the purpose of ensuring transparency and accountability in the country. This very report is actually one of the reports that we've done a couple of years back. What got our interest is that we discovered that once budget is passed, we realize that it's not the entire approved budget, that is released to the ministries, departments, and agencies. So we now did an FOI to find out this very office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President. We realized that this office has been, reflecting in the budget over the years. So we did an FOI to the office of the office of the Ministry of Finance, and then through the FOI we're able to get releases. We're able to get releases from the Accountant Generals of the Federation. So these releases showed the amount that has been sent to this very office over the years, okay, from 2016, 2017, 18, even 2020. But for the COVID-19, the office will have also gotten release. Remember that we had two budgets in 2020, the initial budget and then the second budget. When COVID-19 came, federal government could not fund the budget, so they had to review the budget. So it is from this document we got from Office of the Accountant General's Office of the Accountant General that we're able to establish that money has been going into this office. Yet there is no public
for how many years now?
It's been over 5 years. Yeah, over 5 years, because this is 2021. We've not really gotten any official document from this same office of the Accountant General of the Federation, because that's the office that is in charge of releasing funds to ministries, departments, and agencies. But we're able to establish that over 5 years, this same office of the chief economic advisor to the president has been getting funds, yet there is nobody who is taking responsibility for the findings. We try as much as possible to reach out to government spokesperson, official spokesperson to the president and other authorities. We try to actually reach out to about 7 officials of the president, who are his to the president, to really find out who exactly is the head of this office, who is responsible for the funds, who is responsible for the disbursement of funds. But it's been I don't know, it's either they don't respond or they refer us to another senior aide to the president, and then the senior aide also refers us, and like that. So at some point we a source told us that as far as is concerned, that office does not exist. But beyond that,
the office does not exist.
Yes. So but beyond that, we went further to check the website of the presidency to find out if this very office is listed among offices under the presidency, but it was nowhere to be found. Now this very office again used to have an active website where members of the public can just visit at will and then read and understand some of the economic policy of the current administration. During Jonathan's period, the office, the website was functional. During Obasanjo's period, it was functional. But if you check the website now, you see that it's not operational. So in our report, we were able to establish the fact that we visited the website and then there is nothing there. In fact, it brought out something SQL and all that. So beyond that, we also did an FOI, to that very office to find out who exactly is behind the office. But someone replied via an official document and then a signature on behalf of the office. And then the person said, information you are requesting regarding the money that has gone into this office cannot be provided. And then the person referred us to the office of the Accountant General of the Federation.
Okay, before we get to the office of the Accountant General of the Federation, let's quickly take a last word from Barrister Ezeonyekwe, because he really needs to attend to other important engagements. Last word from you, sir.
Thank you. From the story he has so far narrated, it is clear that massive fraud, and all they were doing was throwing them from one table to the other, nobody taking responsibility. So I think we should push this up. I don't know whether the petition has been sent to the National Assembly or even possibly take on the next step of asking that money be refunded, maybe through the judicial process. So I think that there should be next steps beyond the FOI to make sure that those behind this stealing are punished and the money is returned to Treasury.
I think as journalists, prime responsibility.
Okay. We can always lace to take that forward. We will lace to take that forward. Thank you.
But quickly on the legislators who also knew about this report and still allow the controversies and allow it to.
Let us petition the Senate and the House of Reps with it and see what they will respond. And then also petition the Auditor General of the Federation, who has been complying on this, and see what they do. And then the next step could be the judicial process of seeking to recover the money for the Treasury.
This is a production of PRIMOC, the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, and we have been x-raying the continuous funding of the non-existing office of the Chief Economic Advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari, and we still have in the studio Olubenga and Danny King from ICIR. Josie, okay, you were talking about getting to the Accountant General's office. You did an FOI to the office of the Chief Economic Advisor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, we did an FOI to the office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President. That same office, to really find out who has been who has been in charge of disbursements, okay, of the funds that has been sent to that very office, you know. And if we even wanted to find out how much has been spent by that office over a couple of years back, like 4 or 5 years back, you know. And then the response we got, you know, from the representative. In fact, the representative referred us via an official letter, documented, you know, referred us to the office of the Accountant General, that that is their responsibility to provide such information, you know. So looking at the content of that letter, it was stated that the chief economic advisor to the president, you know, has not been appointed. Okay, so someone, the person who responded,
advisor has not been appointed,
chief economic advisor to the president
has not been appointed, but there has been budgetary allocation.
There has been budgetary allocation. So the letter stated that they won't be able to provide the information we requested for. Rather, we should contact the federal government's office, which is the office of the Accountant General, which is in charge of disbursement, you know. So looking at all of this, at some point we were confused that, okay, so what do we do? Who do we contact? Who do we hold responsible? So, and as media, all what we did was just to contact all the official spokesperson of the president, you know, who should be in the best, who should have the best information to provide. Unfortunately, those responses were not really coming forth, you know. And I remember that we also tried to contact the economic advisor to the president, who categorically denied being responsible, you know, for the office, because his office is under the vice president's office, while office of the chief economic advisor to the president, it's usually under the president's office.
From your report, you did say that the presidency responded to your inquiries. Okay, what did you get from them, especially that coming from the special advisor named in the report?
Okay, I contacted the spokesperson of the president, and then he referred me to, okay, he said, okay, does it matter, since there is an economic advisor to the president? And then he now referred me to the... Let me take that again.
What was his response?
That does it matter that since there is an economic advisor to the president, okay? Meanwhile, the economic advisor to the president, you know, works under office of the vice president. Okay, so he then referred me to the spokesperson to the vice president. Okay, so spokesperson to the vice president too was contacted. He also affirmed that this same person, you know, works in the office of the vice president and is not the chief economic advisor to the president. Okay, so I went further to contact the other spokesperson, the president's media aide, you know, Femi Adesina, you know, but there was no response from him. There are other presidential aides, about 6 or 7 of them.
Did you contact them also?
Yes.
What was their response?
Sent message to them. Some did not respond. One, okay, take for instance, Anjuri Ngelali referred me to the chief of staff, okay, the new chief of staff to the president. But I don't have the contact of the chief of staff to the president, so I requested for the contact of the chief of staff to the president.
Were you giving?
But
that was not provided. He didn't respond. Okay, so I tried as much as possible to see if I could get at least someone's number who is aide to the chief of staff to the president, who could possibly help with the contact of the chief of staff to the president, so I can verify again. But I eventually got a contact, aide to the chief of staff to the president, sent the same request, trying to find out who exactly is the head of this office, but there was no response.
Okay, we will still continue with the discussion, but we want to get you, the listener, out there to join in the conversation because it concerns you. You are a citizen of this country, Nigeria. So, Dozier, let's get to
The listener.
how would you react to what you have heard? Do you think the federal government and lawmakers have shown enough seriousness in tackling corruption in the budget process? We have been looking at a situation where the office of the chief economic advisor to the president has been receiving budget in the last 5 years. But up until now, there is no chief economic advisor to the president. So the big question is, who has been spending the huge amount of money budgeted and released to that particular office? We still have in the studio Olugbenga from the International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICIR. Gbenga, let's continue.
So you were saying something, Benga. Wrap up on your thoughts.
Yeah, basically, I just want to emphasize that we tried every possible effort to at least hear from the presidency, find out who exactly is heading that office, who exactly has been appointed, to that office. Yes,
Okay.
who can be held responsible for the spendings in that office since the president came to power. So, but we couldn't. But eventually, we were able to get a response from a source who validated that that office does not exist.
Okay. Former President Goodluck Jonathan in 2010 appointed Precious Kasi Garba, and also Dr. Nwanze Okedigbe was also appointed as the Chief Economic Advisor from 2011 to 2015. But the current administration is yet to appoint a person to chair that office. Dr. Adeyemi Dikpeolu, the Special Advisor to the President on Economic Matters, Office of the Vice President, denied that he is the one spending the money. But officials tried to pin him to the office of the Chief Economic Advisor. What would you have to say to that?
Well, basically, he exonerated himself from that office. That his office is quite different from that of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President. Okay, he is an economic advisor to the President. He was appointed with other presidential aides when the President came on board. So, and I'm not sure we've read in the media or we've seen in the public space where it was announced that the president has appointed the chief economic advisor. Yes, I'm not sure, but the essence of all these things is just to verify, to understand, who exactly is behind the spendings, who exactly is manning that office, who can we hold responsible for activities that is taking place and spendings in the office. But so far, we've not been able to do that.
In 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari constituted a new Economic Advisory Council which replaced the former Economic Management Team, EMT, that was chaired by the Vice President, Yemi Osibanjo, and we have the likes of Soludo on that team. Some people would want to confuse that as the Chief Economic Advisor's Office when we have the likes of this on that team? Could you throw more light on the difference?
Constituting a team or a committee, okay, is quite different from an office, okay, that has been existing even before the president came on board, okay, and then this office has been getting allocations even before the president came on board. The activities of this office, has always been in the public domain, okay, even before the president came on board. So, in fact, you can check the website. Okay, you check the website, you see that if you check the report we did, we're able to screen grab how the website, which provides information on the activities of that office, has been, okay, over time before the president came on board. And then we're also able to establish how the current state of that portal, okay, because the portal is primarily meant to provide the public information on economic policies and all that of the president. So having that as an office with annual budgetary allocation is quite different from a committee, just set up. So you can't really marry them together.
But what did you see on the website?
Well, on the website, it clearly showed that the website wasn't functional. Okay, the website wasn't functional. If you are connected to the internet, you can possibly just.
I'm trying to go through the website.
You can just go straight to the www.oceap.gov.ng. Check if you can visit the website. Can you see anything there?
No.
Okay, fine. So when we're doing the reports, we discovered that the only information that came up on the website reads database connection error. My SQL adapter is not available and all that, But if you check this same website, there's a technology we deployed to verify the activities, on a website, to establish how the website looks like, like 2 years back, 3 years back, and all that.
Okay.
So, and that's how we're able to validate that this office actually existed. It was existing, okay, and then we're able to get some information, economic information and all that regarding the economic policy of the government, okay, in previous administrations, okay. So it is the same website that we visited, and then we realized that there's nothing there. So mind you, this same website, the name of the website is the same budget line, okay. It has the same name on the budget line of all the budgets that we checked in the course of our report.
And we continue to x-ray some of this report that is mind-boggling.
Talking about monies released to the office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President. In 2016, the office got 78.18 million as its capital budget from a total budget of 142.21 million. The following year, it also received 60 million from 106.86 total approved budget. So monies have been released continuously for over 5 years.
What I also found at Adobe is that monies released, budgeted, the approved monies approved is not the released fund. So they released, the total is 400 and something million, while approved is different from the release.
But the fact is that monies were released.
Exactly.
So who are those spending this money? From the chain of events in the withdrawal of funds in the villa, who did you see in particular official withdrawing this money? Will it be the president himself? Because this office is directed directly under him, reports to him.
And the budget is also supposed to be incorporated through the State House budget, this allocation.
As journalists, we are not supposed to make assumptions. Whatever we want to do must be on fact, must be credible, and it must be something that the public can easily have access to and then check themselves. So yes, you can't literally say the president is the one spending the money, okay? But this is happening under leadership of the president. It's just like a father. You have children who are wayward,
and the advisor supposedly advises the president.
Exactly.
So who has been advising the president?
Well, currently the president has an economic advisor who is Dr. Dipeolu. Okay.
Attached to the office of the vice president.
Exactly. But there is no public information, to validate that the office of the chief economic advisor to the president actually exists. You can just use a simple Google and check chief economic advisor to the president. I'm not sure you'll find anything.
For the person listening, you might want to quickly run a background check on the office of the chief economic advisor to the president, and the website is www.oceap.gov.ng. I want you to quickly do that check and possibly call us back to tell us what you found out.
Brenda, you must have encountered I believe your journey investigating this on this report wasn't that smooth, or I don't know, but share with us your challenges.
Yeah, in the course of filing this report, you are dealing with issues that has to do with the president. You have to be very careful, you have to be meticulous, you have to ensure that whatever information you are putting out there, it's valid. Okay, so the information we got, came as a result of freedom of information request we sent to the office that we sent to the office of the office in charge of releasing funds, to ministries, departments and agencies, which is the Accountant General's office. So the response from the office of the Accountant General of the Federation, is what we used to validate our hypothesis, our assumptions initially, that what could be happening, how much has gone to this office and all that, So, and then once we're able to establish that, so year, so amount was released to this office from so amount approved. Budget is a process. You submit an estimated figure, estimated spendings, and then it's passed through the National Assembly, then it gets approved. Eventually, the National Assembly might reduce it or increase it depending, and then eventually the office in charge of releasing funds may decide to
release less
based on whatever revenue the government has generated. So, and then through that we're able to establish the amount that has been going to that office one after the other. So, but we don't just want to stop at that. We also felt that it's important to still reach out to this very office, but it was really difficult, so to say, who exactly are we going to address, in this letter. But we just say, office of the chief economic advisor. We just play along. We address it to the office of the chief economic advisor to the president. But when the response came, and then one Babatunde something signed on behalf of the chief economic advisor to the president.
Which goes to say that there is no chief economic advisor.
So you know what we did is just to gather all the facts, okay, place it on the table alongside with the chain of reactions we try to get from about 7 presidential aides. You know,
now we are in this at this point.
The numbers again are 090-30,899, 080-998-770, and 0809-40,070. You should be bothered as a citizen of this country, given the fact that there's high rate of poverty, insecurity, and then a non-existent office continuously gets allocations and monies released for that particular office with nobody, I would say that again, with nobody as the chief economic advisor. So what has happened to that money over time? It does appear that there is a systemic corruption. If monies have been released, a particular account gets that money. Who signs for those funds to be withdrawn from the account of the chief economic advisor to the president? Something is definitely wrong somewhere.
Somebody.
Who should be held responsible? Why has the EFCC not done anything? Hello.
Hello, hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, my name is Raymond. I'm calling you from Life Camp.
Raymond, let's hear you.
Okay, so real quick, I wanted to speak to Primorg now directly. I think what you guys are doing is great, even though we haven't heard from Aurelia in a long time. I don't know if it's still associated with your brand. But the thing is very critical that I want to say is, all this information you guys gather from all these investigative journalists who do a yeoman's job, I want to commend the guy there and all the other guys you guys bring on all the time. Is there you guys chronicle all this information? Is there a way we can all, the public can have access to all these reports? Because this government prides itself that, they say there's no corruption, there's nothing going on. They always try to paint a picture, like they're on top of things. But every day, or practically every week, you guys bring out hard facts. And I repeat, hard facts that, they need to come out and defend. But at least from what we've heard now, these are clear facts that are on the table, like the journalist here now. Is there a way that you guys chronicle all these things so people can go and refer to these documents? So the day these guys come on your station and they start, on this station or any other program, they start preaching, people can dig out these things and put direct questions to them. Because I expect that what you guys can do now is call up someone from the presidency, maybe the PAMSEC in the presidency, or, someone that asks this direct question. So it is not as if we're just hearing only from the journalists, but you guys put it point blank to them. Look, this is the situation you have. This is what's on ground. What can you tell us about this? So it's not just that you guys are turning out this information every day and we're not getting any feedback, or at least you're not putting these questions to the government. So I think I've said a couple of things. One, is there a chronicle of all these things you guys have somewhere, a database where people can always refer to this information? And then two, what plans you guys have to, put these questions directly to people who can give us answers, or at least some kind of explanation? People like the Femi Additionals of this world, maybe the PAMSEC of the Villa, and those kind of people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raymond, for your contribution. And I must say, yes, we do have a link where you could get the stories, www.news.primorg.org. news.primorg.org. When you visit there, you would see all the stories. And you also mentioned that if we have contacted some of these indicted organizations, MDAs and personnel, yes, we did a report we amplified a report last week on NECO, how they collude with some schools on special centers and all of that. We have written to NECO and we have also written to Ministry of Education. Trust me, we are in touch with them.
And we are not letting it slide, because we will take it to a town hall meeting for further amplification. But as we head to wrapping things up, Benga, President Muhammadu Buhari has never hidden his strong stance on the fight against corruption in Nigeria. What is your advice to the president, especially now that such a controversial office under his watch has got 116 million naira and still counting?
Well, if I must advise the president, I will say that I remember when he first came on board, he said, "I am for nobody, I am for everybody." And I could remember the kind of impression, the kind of acceptance that Nigerians, had then. The impression was that Mr. President is really coming to fight corruption and fight it to the last. So what I would just advise is the president should act more. We want to see people go to jail, okay? We want to see people who have been indicted, who have been accused, and then and the court has established that yes, these people are actually found guilty. Let them go to jail.
Let's quickly take this call, please. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Johnny, calling from my camera right now.
Let's hear you, Johnny.
Thank you very much. I think we had your resource man in the studio there, and we are very pleased with. I've been listening to people like this in Nigeria, and I want to believe that this organization has been on for how long. Some of us would like to know, and how many of these nice this thing they've been able to detect like this for Nigerians to know. The resource man can please enlighten us better when this organization was has been on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to know for how long ICIR has been on?
Quickly, Benga.
ICIR has been on since 2010. So we've been doing investigations, a couple of investigations. If people visit our website, icirnigeria.org, you will see a whole lot of investigations we've done, either in health or in economy, housing, virtually every sector, security, military.
I will have to jump in there.
Thank you so much, because our time is almost up.
Please visit the news page of our website, news.primark.org. That is news.primark.org for all the details of our report and interviews. Visit our website, primark.org, to get all the information about Primark.
And you can also watch our videos on Primark TV, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to get reminders whenever we have a new post. We sincerely appreciate our guest, Olugbenga Adaniki of the International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICIR, and the lead director, Center for Social Justice, Barrister Eze Onyepere. Public Conscience is supported by the John T. and Catherine V. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building a more just, verdant, and peaceful world. Get more information about the foundation on its website, macfound.org.
Join us again here next week for another episode of Public Conscience, and remember to follow us on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Official Primark. I am Chidozie Obunnaya.
Remember that you can give us information or hints about corrupt acts through our phone 0902 265 6167 or info@primark.org. You should be interested in all of these corruption stories. It concerns you, it concerns me, it concerns everybody. We should all take action. I am Adaobi Obiabumo. Thank you.